I'm sure it's a maths lesson. Hello Smarties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my first tutor. Super excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to the channel, please press the subscribe button. It's on the side, it's the red button. Please do press that button, it's really important. I'm going to give you a moment to press. Did you? Thank you so much for joining the family. Welcome to the channel. My name is Siviwe Boyce and you are tuned into week 3. Yeah guys, we've been doing this. It's week 3 of my first tutor, and this week we were doing differential calculus. As you know, last week we were doing functions, right? Remember? Yeah. So you guys do keep up with me on the comment section. I also link my email on the description box so that you guys can send me all your questions. If you need some help with your homework, assignments, whatever, here you go. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you do enjoy this week's video. This question paper was extracted from February-March 2016, and we are doing question 8. I'm doing question 8.1, which says f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 4. So I'm just quickly going to differentiate. The instruction that was given in this question was that we should differentiate by first principle. And so what that means is you use the following formula, the one that I'm just putting a box around. That's the formula that you use. It says f of x is f x and x is equal to limit when h tends to 0 f into x plus h minus f of x over h. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. I'm just going to follow the exact same thing and use the rules to manipulate that calculation and to get the final answer. Into the formula, as you can see, and just expanding that. That is still my f of x plus h. So what I did is I'm just going to break it down, take bits and pieces from the formula and just apply it, and throughout I get the answer at the end. Okay, so just after I've expanded that, what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to take that second part. As you can see, I'm doing f of x plus h minus the f of x. So what I did is I just took f of x as it is and then I put it right at the end. So now you can see that 4 cancels out with the other 4 and the x squared goes with the other x squared. So what you want from this step is that, but at this step you should be left with like h on each side of the, I don't know, equation. Not really the equation, but like you should have x with each term. Yeah, that's the correct word. So as you can see, that it's minus 2xh minus h squared. So I have h on both terms. Then you can proceed to the next step. So what I'm doing in the next step is I'm actually differentiating. That's when I start to put my f of x and x, limit h tends to 0, and then I'm going to apply that formula that I put up there. So what I just did here is that I just took the h, since it's a common factor, I took it outside the brackets, and I am now left with minus 2x minus h over h. So you can see that h and h cancel out, and then I have limit of minus 2x minus h. So then I then go and substitute my h for 0, and the final answer is f of x is equal to minus 2x. That's it. I hope it was simple enough for you guys, but yeah, it's not that difficult. Try at least. So moving on to question 8.2.1, as you can see, I've already taken down the question. It's y is equal to 3x squared plus 10x. Then what I'm doing is I'm just going to differentiate this one. It didn't say we should differentiate by first principle. You should pay attention to the questions. So yeah. 8.2.2 says y is equal to 3x squared plus 10x. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to differentiate that 3 times 2, and then I get 6x, and then what happens to the 2 in the squared? You just minus 2. I hope you guys already know the rules of differentiation. Otherwise, I'll make a separate video where I just literally teach you everything on how to differentiate, and some of the bits and pieces I've left here and there from all the other questions. So yeah, that's what I did here. I just differentiated that. I got 6x plus 10, and as you can see that the x it just went away, but I'll show you how to do that. So the next question, okay, I made a mistake actually there, because that 8.2, that was supposed to be 8.2.2. The f of x is equal to x minus 3 over x all squared. So that is like a separate question. It's not the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and differentiate this part of it. But first, what I'd like to do is a question like this, I like to expand it before I can actually start differentiating. And as you can see that I changed the 3 over x to 3x to the power of negative 1. That is more or less the same thing. As you can see, guys, I'm just showing you that it's like 3 of x to the power negative 1 is the same as 3 over x. So yeah, this is just to make it easier to manage. So that's why I choose to write it like this. Otherwise, you can do it otherwise. Okay, guys, excuse me for all this, what I keep doing. I'm just trying to put out notes for you guys so that you can actually understand. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on the side right now. I'm just calculating what, when you multiply the negative 3 and negative 3x to the power negative 1 times x to the power 1. So I'm basically showing you guys how to, what happens actually when you differentiate. So yeah, what I'm getting is negative 3x to the power 0. So 0 falls away, and then I'm left with negative 3. I was literally just trying to show you that and figure it out. So yeah, now that I know that my answer is negative 3, I'm just going to go ahead and simplify that. Simplify, factorize. Simplify, yes, simplify. Guys, I forget to, So as you can see, I got x squared minus 3 plus 9x to the power of negative 2. So yeah, negative 3 and negative 3 become negative 6. So my final answer is x squared minus 6 plus 9 to the power x. 9x to the power negative 2. That is when it's differentiated. I'm just going to write it as a fraction. Oh no, sorry. What I meant is I'm done with the simplification part. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually starting to differentiate. So I got my answer to be 2x minus 18 x to the power negative 3. The next question is question 8.3, and I've already written down everything. As you guys can see, f of x is equal to 2x to the power 3 minus 2x squared plus 80x minus 84. So we were asked to prove that x minus 2 is a factor of f. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now. So when you try to prove, basically you just do the x minus 2 is equal to 0, and then you just so as you can see that when you prove that it's a factor, as I was saying, when you want to prove that x minus 2 is a factor, you just equate it to 0 and you take it to the other side. You get that your x is equal to 2, and you go and substitute that 2 that you got into the original equation of f. So that's what I'm doing right now, is 2 into the 2, where there's x you put 2, so it's 2 to the power 2 into 2 cube minus 23 into 2 squared plus 82. Okay, I'm sorry that you guys can't see that, but it's actually 84. So yeah, and then so I got my answer to be 0. So what that means is x of x minus 2 is actually a factor. When I substitute 2 and I got 0, then it means that it's a factor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that to do. So on question 8, I'm just still doing question 8.3, and as you can see, it says hence or otherwise factorize fully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now factorize the f of x equation. And yeah, basically when it's a cubic equation, you're supposed to get 3 factors. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. And in order for you to get 3 factors, there's different ways of doing it, but I personally prefer the long division. Yeah, it's very long. As it says, it's a long division. It's very long, but I think it's the most convenient, and you are not bound to get wrong answers when you do the long division. Or else, I'd say, in my opinion, I don't usually get wrong answers. So yeah, anyway guys, as you can see, I've already started doing the long division. On the other side of the arm, I put x minus 2, and then inside I put now the equation of f. So then I'll start factorizing. So when you do the long division, sorry, you ask yourself which number or which term will, when you multiply with the x on the outside, give you 2x to the power 3. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to eliminate that. So yeah, then I multiply the 2x on top with the 2, and then I got 4x minus 2. So, and then you multiply, you subtract the 2. As you can see, I just put the minus sign there, and when you subtract 2x to the cube and 2x cube, you get 0, obviously. And then yeah, what I'm trying to do now is just to figure out what you get for the next one. And yeah, as you guys can see, this will be a repetition of this whole thing, but I just want you to get a grip of how you do it. Sorry if I'm rambling, but yeah guys, I'm trying to explain. I tend to have explained things sometimes, but yeah, I hope you guys understand though. So yeah, I got my answer to be negative 19x squared. You guys can verify if you think there's anything that I did wrongly or anything like that. You can just hit me up in the comment section. Y'all know. Okay, my writing is the best, but I hope you guys can see that that is 80, but yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat the same steps. That is, ask myself which number will when I multiply with the x, which term when I multiply with the x will I get negative 19x squared. So I got it to be 19x, so that means that when I multiply that I got negative 19x squared. So I subtract the 2, then I get a 0. Move on to the next, doing the same thing over and over again. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find an equation that is from the quadratic. I'm trying to derive from the cubic, sorry, I'm trying to derive a quadratic equation because it's easier to simplify. So yeah, guys, what I'm just going to do, as you can see, I'm finished with everything. So the best thing when you get your final answer, you should eliminate everything and be left with 0. So as you can see that I got 0 for all the terms. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take down what's on top exactly as it is, because I was trying to derive the quadratic equation. So now that I got my quadratic equation along with the other factor, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find factors from the quadratic equation, because there's 2 more factors that I still need to find. I already have 1. So yeah, guys, what I normally do is I just substitute for when I'm trying to get factors, I just substitute into the quadratic formula so that I get correct answers, because I'm not trying to calculate everything, and I'm not in the exam you don't have time, so I'm literally not out here trying to waste my time. I just put everything into the quadratic formula and then put in the calculator, and then yeah, I get my answers. Yeah, man.
No role models and I'm here right now. No role models to speak of. Searching through my memory, I couldn't find one. Last night